question is, what kind of, how did campuses respond to us in the course of making the film?
Well, as you might imagine, they weren't particularly happy with us making the film. I mean, part of the problem with this issue is that, you know, it's not spoken about enough. You know, there's been this concern that if campuses speak about this, they'll be known as the rape school. But the reality is that this happens at all campuses, and the campuses that are talking about it are probably the safest schools.
And Kirby and Amy's work has actually now brought a lot of the alumni in this conversation. So maybe one of the next questions could be, what do you all think that alumni can do to help students as well as communities?
The activism of the last couple of years will lead to a culture change. We've seen it with our students. I see it certainly with colleagues in other institutions.
And sort of start asking questions, you know, ask questions to your board, ask questions to the trustees, you know, in paper, write letters, emails to the president, like, what are you doing about this issue? What are best practices? What are we getting right? What are we getting wrong?
We're getting a lot of response and interest from parents of high school students and high school students. I mean, we've been, you know, really kind of taken aback by that. So we are going to make a version for high school, and we will be getting that out beginning in the fall. This film will be on CNN in the fall. It's right now, it's in theaters, and then it will go out on other platforms like iTunes and Netflix. So it will be out there for a long while.
We screened it at the University of Delaware, and 3 fraternity brothers came up to me and said, afterwards, they said it was a total game changer for them. They thought women just lied.
I'm having a reaction just because, as an advocate for victims, the way that maybe it's not the way you intended the question, but the way that I heard that question was as though we as individuals could prevent someone from harming us. It really starts beyond college. It starts very early on with how we talk with our children about their own sexuality. Do we talk about it with this context of shame? Do we talk about it with this sense of entitlement? Or do we talk about it from a place that's built on respect and consent? Our sons and daughters and those who are gender non-conforming. It's about talking as a community about this issue and taking away from the stigma, the shame that's attached to being a survivor. We should talk about how to not assault instead of talking about how not to get assaulted.
We have a 2-hour presentation that covers the topics of sexual assault, alcohol and substance use, and sexual health and relationships and healthy relationships and communicating with your partner. And we require 100% of our incoming class get this education. So every single student at UCLA gets this education.
I think it ought to be seen by Rotary clubs and all those kind of people who really, really, really need to see this. So that they go home and tell their grandchildren there's something going on in those great schools.
The survivors coming forward. Because if survivors come forward, then there's much more of a chance of finding these repeat offenders and getting them off campus. But if they don't feel that the administration at the top will support them or behind them, they won't come forward. I mean, this kind of discussion is so important. I mean, this is, I just want to say, I mean, it really is unique that there's a group of people like yourselves discussing this, because obviously, it's, you know, an institution like UCLA, it's a complex challenge, and it's going to take the entire community, just like it's going to take the entire country. So, I mean, this is just really great to see.
And for more information, we have a website, thehuntinggroundfilm.com. There's resources listed on there. There's screenings. There's the cities we're opening in. You can get involved with our community. All sorts of different things. So if you're interested in staying involved on this issue, you know, please visit our website. Figure out, you know, how you can fit in and be part of the solution.